every good morning, everyone. It's Carol at Big Cat Rescue, and the keepers are out. There goes Alyssa. There's Gabrielle. Hey, Gabrielle! Are you gonna get some breakfast? Yes, indeed. I didn't want to disturb Rebecca. She's down there feeding Joseph. And looks like she's done feeding Joseph. He's gone. The Texas Tigers. Hey, Jerry. Good to see you up on this early Sunday morning. There's Arthur and Andre having their breakfast in their feeding lockout. Looks like they are just finishing up. Good morning, Jody Lynn. I had every intention of getting here a little bit earlier than this, but I got sucked down a rabbit hole. If you guys were watching yesterday, you know I got a call about somebody who was very disturbed about how some tigers and leopards were being moved in Mississippi. And so I watched the Facebook Live video that they were doing of the transfer, and it was horrifying. The person talking on the video was talking about how here this cat is not even sedated completely, and they've got the door to the cage just standing wide open, and a whole bunch of yahoos standing around the cat yelling and being goofballs while they're trying to get the cat sedated. They call for more drugs, so apparently they had some vet there, and put the cat on a stretcher and carry it out of the cage, and the cat starts to lift its head as they're going out the door of the enclosure, which just horrified me. And of course everybody carrying the cat was like, whoa! And then they put the cat in the back of a car, which is what prompted the call from the person who was concerned, because she had seen them putting a cat into the back of a hatchback. They were just transporting the cat over to a horse trailer, which is not an appropriate way to move a cat. And in the horse trailer, they had this tiny little cage that was only like half as tall as our feeding lockouts. So they said the tiger was a pregnant female, and they were cramming her into this tiny little spot, and she was sedated. So when they're sedated, a lot of times what they'll do is push with their back feet. And if they hit their head up against something while they're still totally out of it, they can cut off their windpipe because of their neck arching and die. And I just couldn't believe that any legitimate sanctuary was involved in this. And so I asked the person in the comment section what was going on. Zabu, are you just going to totally ignore us? Hey, gorgeous. We're talking. Yeah, but you're not talking about me. That's the problem. So I asked the lady where the cats are from and where they're going, and she won't tell me where they're from, and she insinuated that they were going to Cedar Hill, and she said that they were definitely going to an accredited sanctuary. Well, I know there aren't any accredited sanctuaries in Mississippi, so one of the other people from another accredited sanctuary contacted Cedar Hill, and they said they didn't know anything about it. So I felt like the woman was being misleading to us, if not outright lying. I don't remember if she said for sure they were going to Cedar Hill and then edited it to say a place like Cedar Hill, which is what it eventually ended up saying in the comment section when I went back to look at it today. But at any rate, it wasn't Cedar Hill, and it turned out to be just some private collector, and we're trying to figure out still who that is. But the rabbit hole I went down this morning was just trying to figure out where the cats came from, and I'm pretty sure these are the cats from the Collins Zoo. And you guys might remember this has been an ongoing issue with the Collins Zoo. If you look them up on Wikipedia, it's got the breakdown, but in 2001 they were raided by the Mississippi Department of Wildlife because they had a bunch of animals, wild animals, that they weren't legal to keep. And they were raided again in 2010, I think again in 2011, and in 2012, I'm pretty sure that the Humane Society of the United States was involved in relocating the tigers and leopards to real sanctuaries while USDA was shutting this place down. But I have some vague recollection that the Collins Zoo managed to get the animals returned, and I could be wrong on that. I've got some emails out to see what the situation was, but it seems more than coincidental that there were tigers and leopards in 2012 that were being confiscated, and now there's tigers and leopards still there, still being bred, if this is in fact the Collins Zoo, which I'm not absolutely certain yet. But then it begs the whole question of, or not really the question, but it illustrates why these regulations don't work. You're talking about 16 years of breaking the law and nothing being done about it. And that's insane. And yet that's the way it is. Alright, rant over. I'm gonna go see if I can find some more cats. Now the squirrel! You're on Facebook Live, little squirrel! Chasing your ball. Was that fun? You thinking the golf cart might be more fun to chase? Good morning, Collie. I know. I think the worst part of all of this is that the tiger was pregnant. So you know, for the last 16 years, even though they've been in and out of trouble that whole time, they were continuing to breed. Because people will pay to have their pictures made with a cub. And when people stop doing that, then the breeders will stop breeding these guys for life in cages. So I hope, if nothing else, every single time you see somebody posting a picture of some idiot playing with a baby tiger cub or a baby lion cub and saying, oh, isn't this cute, that you're going to call them out on it. And you're going to let them know, no, it's not cute. And you can tell them why. There's a great webpage with all of the resources that you need on that at bigcatrescue.org/cubs, C-U-B-S. Andy Tiger, are you done with your breakfast, sir? I do believe so. Jamie, thank you. You know, there are so many of you who know better, and I really believe that if more of you could get over the shyness of being able to call somebody on something, you probably could influence an awful lot of people in your circles, and they could influence more people, and they could influence more people. I'm really worried about what's going to happen to animals over the next 4 years because of all of the things that are going on. You guys may have heard that USDA took down all of the inspection reports, and so that means the bad guys are going to be able to operate completely hidden from view. You are not going to be able to know what's going on because we're not going to be able to share it with you because USDA is not making that available. And that kind of cloaking just allows so much abuse to happen in the dark. And so it's going to be up to every single one of us to do everything we can to try and end the private possession and breeding and exploitation of these magnificent animals. Don't you agree, Keisha? Jeff, if you agree. Yes. There's a Jeff. There's a Jeff. Say, I don't belong in a cage. I should never have been bred for life in a cage. Are you being adorable? Get you a better angle on her being so cute. I hear Nikita roaring. Well, thank you, Jenna. I tell you, some days it's just so discouraging. Were you thinking about playing with that? Gracious. You're so roly. So roly. Hey, and Mariette, she was rescued from a place in New York where they kept her in a cage next door to lions, and they had a shared wall, a common wall between them, and the volunteers told us that the lions ripped off her tail and her ear. You'll notice she's missing part of an ear, and if you look closely at her stripes on her back leg, not this side, the other side, they don't match up, which indicates that she went through some pretty traumatic fighting for her life at some point at some nasty roadside zoo in New York. Jenny, I am not going to rub her belly. And I know you're just kidding, but we never touch the cats here because that's what makes other people want to touch cats. Whenever they see somebody petting a big cat, they want to do that too. And that's what drives all of the abuse. So we are never going to be putting our hands on these cats and causing other people to go out and pay to do that. Boy, Nakita's really talking this morning. Maybe we should go see her. I'd like to go see her, but Keisha's just being so precious. Mandy, the place where she was rescued from, she was in a cage next door to some lions who tore off her tail and ear. Here at Big Cat Rescue, our cats never have a shared wall so that doesn't happen. Lori, that is her royal lioness, Nakitia, roaring. Being very talkative this morning. Hoover! Hi, honey! Oh, everybody would love to see Hoover. Good morning. Oh. Oh. I never realized how tall he is. He actually had to duck down to go into that den. It's plenty big inside, but still, we need a little bit bigger hole. I'm gonna leave the area. Apparently he was going out for a walk till he saw me. Rye Birch, I didn't catch what you were saying when you said no names. Keepers are out feeding cougars. Good morning. Keeping all those vultures at bay. Priya. Good morning, Tiger. Here she comes. There's my good girl. Good morning. Did you have breakfast or are you waiting for breakfast? Yeah, row, row, row. Well, listen to you talking. Alex? That was Hoover a minute ago that went in the den. This is Priya. Chastity, I agree with you. All that pacing indicates the dinner or breakfast is not here yet. It's a pretty good sign. Whereas these guys are acting like they've already been killed. Nakitia Lioness! I could hear you. I could hear you roaring. Nakitia Lioness just had a birthday on February 3rd. She just turned 16. 16 and never been kissed. Never been kissed. Gonna have some yoga after breakfast? Definitely know she's been fed or she would be all over me. Yes, Robin, here's your girl. Jamie, you should post a picture of your cat watching the big cats. I think Afton's going to do like a video or at least a slideshow type montage of those images because so many people report that their cats love the big cats. And you guys can watch Nakitia Lioness all day, every day, 24/7 at explore.org/bigcatrescue. They're saying you're their favorite queen. Karen, she's not pregnant. She's just getting a little chubby. The vet just came through with Gail a week or so ago and reevaluated the cats. They do this a couple times a year where they reevaluate the cats to see if they need more food or less food in their diet to keep them at their optimal weight. And Nakitia was definitely not on the skinny list. You were not. I bet she rolls over before I get all the way around this cage to her face, but I will try. There's the flycatcher that the people on Explore that watch her all the time chipped in together and bought. It's a really cool flycatcher. It's huge. Oh, you're gonna come over here now? Am I in your territory? Oh, look at you run. Look at you running. See, I can run. I'm not too fat. So yesterday, somebody sent me, actually Tanya from Finland, and huge shout out to Tanya P. She is our monitor at night. She lives in Finland, so when all of us are sleeping on this end and the trolls are trying to post all of their crap on our Facebook page, she's there to make sure they can't. And I love her for that. She also does a good job of monitoring people who are saying that they're supporting us when they're selling stuff or doing fundraisers when we have no idea who they are, so she always brings those to my attention. And she brought one to my attention yesterday. Oh, she's my good girl. That turned out to be legitimate. It was Christina Hess, and I had commissioned Christina several years ago to do a painting of my daughter, a fantasy painting of my daughter that brought into the painting all of the elements of Jamie's life. So like her rehab work and all of the cats that she's helped save, well, not all of them, it's hundreds, but some of the cats that she's helped rescue and save. And she did this gorgeous, gorgeous painting. And I didn't know that she had taken the painting and put it on t-shirts and mouse pads and cups and all kinds of things, and calls it Jamie of the Jungle. So I don't know if you Google Jamie, Jamie is how it's spelled, of the jungle, whether or not you'll be able to find this painting, or the items from the painting, but it's really cool. And so Jamie had always said, you know what I want to do is, before I die, I want an action figure made after me. And I think that would be so cool. But it got me to thinking, if you had an action figure doll, in the comments here, name what the 3 accessories would be that came with your doll. I would love to get to know some of you guys a little bit better by knowing that if you were an action figure doll, what 3 accessories would come in the kit? Ooh, people are thinking. Comments have stopped. Chastity, I wish there were a webcam on Nabisco and Mrs. Claus too, because that would be so much fun. Their cage is built in such a way that it's really hard to see, though, because there's like 3 totally different sections of it, and so there's nowhere you could put a camera that could actually be on all 3 sections. And these cameras run us, I think it's something like $18,000 by the time you get the internet and everything out there to them, because it requires trenching and wiring and paying for internet and all of that to make any one of those cameras work. Oh, Judy, you found it. Thank you very much. A whip, phaser, and cloak, makeup, phone, and car, a rope, binoculars, and sun hat, concert tickets, camera, a smile. Is a smile an accessory? Cell phone, iced tea, and a cat. Yarn, my dogs, and a phone. Sewing machine, jewelry, tools, and glasses. Bucket of treats. Yeah, I got you there. Muck boots. Yeah, that's on my list. A backpack, food. Oh gosh, I missed it. Food bucket full of treats. Cat, wine glass, and cake. I like the way you think, Jerry. Phone, cross, necklace, and rings. Cell phone to watch PCR. Cat of Jacob and a cup of diet ginger ale. Booze, phone, and kitty cat. Thank you for the compliments on Jamie of the Jungle. I really loved that painting that she did for Jamie. A shield, that's a great idea. Tranquilizer darts. Pond fish and scratching post. Spy cam, laser guy, and makeup. Your cat, your rabbit, and a hairbrush. I bet you got some hair going on there, Carol. Cell phone, my cat's in a purse. Casey couldn't think of a 3rd thing for her kit. I bet you will come up with something. A cat, and another cat. Sharon, that's funny. Cat, dogs, and scotch. Coffee, my cat, and a walking stick. Horse, cape, and a water gun. My cat's sunshine phone and Budweiser. My sassy kitty wine bottle and bottle opener. My laptop, cell phone, and food. Inspector Gadget, helicopter hat, roller skates. And I can't read these as fast as they're coming across my screen, I'm sorry. Oh, Diane, what would I have? I would have nets, a carrier, and gloves. Coffee, yes, that's great, Casey. Wine glass, sunglasses, and your cats. A feed bucket times 3. You're going to be doing a lot of feeding, Julie. Animal communicators say that this paws crossed in front of her is giving you guys a hug. I believe that. And somebody just said that they would be an animal communicator. That's a hard thing to have as an accessory. Don't know quite how you would accessorize that, but I understand the thought. Oh, Nikita. Oh, my knees. I'm too old to be doing this, girlfriend. And she's like, if you look like you might fall, I just might grab you. Lori, thank you for posting that. I know, she's got the cutest teddy bear ears. Cat's book and wine. Chastity, Jamie was born in 1980. She's been doing this work since she was 12 years old. She still looks 12. She's going to be 37 this year. A trash bag. Yeah, that's really practical, Shandi. And Advil. Great idea. Michelle, a superpower would be a great thing to have if you can illustrate it. They're saying hugs back at you, Nikita. Everybody loves your royal lioness. I got started by accident, and I tell people all the time, this could happen to you. You just end up in the right place at the wrong time, and all of a sudden your life changes. My late husband and I were at an auction buying llamas because we were in real estate for a living. I still am. That's how I support myself. And this guy came in with a bobcat just wrapped around his neck. She was so scared. And you can imagine a live animal auction with people yelling and screaming and bidding, and this cat was just terrified. And he said she was 6 months old. His wife didn't want her anymore because she wasn't fun, because once they get to be about 6 months old, they're not fun anymore. And the guy next to me was bidding on her, and I had done bobcat rehab and release since I was 17 years old. And I said, man, when that cat grows up, she's going to tear your face off. And he said, I'm the taxidermist. I'm just going to club her in the head in the parking lot. And so I started crying, and my late husband started bidding, and we probably paid more for that bobcat than anybody ever paid for a bobcat in the history of bobcats, but she was not going to get clubbed in the head in the parking lot that day. And she came home with us, and she was a horrible, horrible pet. So we started looking for a playmate for her, which led us to a fur farm in Minnesota, and the next year came home with 56 bobcats and lynx to save them from being turned into fur coats. And the sanctuary sprouted from that. As they say, if you build it, they will come. The bobcat who started all this, Christine, was Windsong. When you guys watch us in the Windsong Memorial Hospital, there's a big, gorgeous painting by Julia Doan. She was a volunteer here, and she did, or an intern, and she did a gorgeous painting of Windsong that, you know, sometimes you can paint a person or an animal and it doesn't much look like that person or animal, no matter how hard you try. And other people or other times you paint an animal or a person, and it's like as soon as somebody sees the painting, they know exactly who it is. And when Julia presented that painting to me, I just busted into tears because I immediately knew that was Windsong. And we hung it in the hospital and named the hospital after her. So you'll see a beautiful painting of her anytime you're watching surgeries over at explore.org/bigcatrescue. Oh, that's sweet, Jody Lynn. I know, Christine. Isn't that painting gorgeous? I just love it. Kay said she would have a magic wand. Yeah, I think I think I would like that. All right. Oh, don't fall into the cage. Yeah, you would cure me of that, wouldn't you? Because as sweet as she's being, and as well as she knows me, if any part of my body went through that 4-inch hole, she's going to pull it all the way through. And it's not because she's evil. She's a lion. That's just how you're hardwired. You can't help yourself. No, you're just made to be a killer. Jenny, you can always email me at cat@bigcatrescue.org. Christine, you're right. It is instinct. Reminds me of a line from Roger Rabbit. I'm not bad. I'm just painted that way. Karen, that's awfully sweet of you to say. Yeah, yeah. Chastity's right. If you've ever seen the way she got over her pumpkin, or the way she gets over food, you guys might have watched when we do meds at night. And just even over that little bit of meds, she just goes nuts. Can't help yourself, can you? You just can't. All I can think about is food. You're the Jessica Rabbit of lions. This is Nikita. Aw, thank you, Maribel. All right, I have a really depressing day ahead of me, so it was nice to come out here and start it with all of you lovely people, and you really made my day with all of your action figure accessories. Those were really fun. The reason it's going to be a depressing day is we've had a tribute site for our cats when they die that was created by a volunteer back in 2010, and it's just a really ugly site. It's not her fault, it's because it's a Google site, and those just aren't very attractive most of the time. And there's no way to make this thing attractive. And it doesn't serve its purpose. The reason we had set up the tribute site was back in 2010. The only way that people could post their tributes to cats that died here was to set up a Google account and then post it on that site. Well, now everybody can post a comment with Facebook. And so I noticed when Sharaka died, and for you, Razel, it really was pronounced Sharaka. That's how it should have been pronounced, but nobody ever could say it right. But when he died, I noticed that so many people outpoured their love on his page at bigcatrescue.org/Sharaka in the Facebook comments. Or you can always, if you don't have Facebook, of course, if you're watching this, you have Facebook. But if you don't have Facebook, you can always register on our website and post a comment now, but that wasn't available in 2010. So there's probably been 200 cats that have been here over the 24 years of the sanctuary. And so moving all of those cats who have previously died, which is probably, I don't know, 100 and some, over to the new site has been taking me a long time. But I want to make sure that as I bring those back over to our main site, that I'm posting a really nice picture of the cat to remember them forever, and to get all of the comments that people had posted before, all of their tributes, moved over to the site as well. So I'm up to the S's, but it's like, it's taken me 3 days, and now it's going to be my 4th day of doing this. And every single cat I remember, and I remember their lives, and I remember their deaths, and it's really hard to repost all of that again. So I'm bracing myself for a really tough day, but I hope to be able to get through all of it, and people will be able to find all of our cats' memorials on our website in the category called Memorials. So if you go to bigcatrescue.org/category/memorials, I think is how you get to it. Or if you just look up any of the cats who have ever been here and died, at the bottom there'll be a link to all of the other cats that have ever been here and died. So that's how I'm going to spend my day. Nikita, maybe I'll bring you up on the Explore cam at my desk so that you could cheer me up with your hugs. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Mwah. I love you. Bye-bye.